Hello and welcome to North Penn's Finest. I'm your host, Ted Heller. On today's program, we'll be taking a look at the college application process. This is more like a VCR alert for everyone out there in the audience because we're going to be talking about lots of special information that you may not hear all the time. So make sure you're paying close attention to all the information we share with you today. Joining us on the show to help explain the process will be Margaret Chioda Keller, the Future Plan Center Coordinator, and Pat Kohler, North Penn High School Guidance Counselor. But first, let's welcome Mr. John Vencius, Chairman of North Penn High School's Guidance Services, and Karen Higgins, the high school's Transcript Secretary. Welcome to the show. As I mentioned earlier, I think we'll be talking about a lot of useful information that some parents may not pick from their children because necessarily children won't share it with them. John, first of all, let's get down to the basics. For a high school student, what do I need to do myself if I want to go on to college? What do I need to do academically?
Academically is, first of all, a sense of discipline. And by that I mean how you study. Many students will go home and they'll do some written homework and they think that takes care of it. Well, all that does is prove that they have written their homework, but it doesn't mean that they have studied the material. And I think that's an important point, that students will review every evening the work that was done in the class so that they understand the content of what it's about and to connect it day by day for the total understanding of what the subject matter is.
So it goes beyond a test that they take.
Oh, very much. Yeah, it's home study. And that's a basic thing because in college they're going to need to know how to study because there's going to be so much of it. But the discipline has to start now. And
in college, I might add, they don't necessarily hold your hand as well as they do in some school districts, especially North Penn. They'll get you through.
Yeah.
Are there certain courses, general courses, a student should take, core courses?
The courses required for graduation are, of course, important to help the student reach the end, but also to prepare them for college. So English, that's a required course for graduation. But along with that, they're learning writing skills, which they're going to use constantly in college, and vocabulary. Social studies, that's in place already. Math, as high a level as the student can handle. But colleges basically want 3 levels of math or 3 courses of math, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. But then depending on the major, it may be more.
Now, if the student stays on the regular cycle, they'll get through that through their 10th, 11th, and 12th grade here. Is that correct?
They will get through that as far as satisfying the requirements for graduation. There are some things over and above that they should keep in mind. We talked about English, social studies, math, is science. To complete that and have 1 lab science, that's a requirement. 2 years of a foreign language is a requirement. And something else that's not a graduation requirement, but especially helpful for college, and that's computer skills. Today, every student must know how to use the computer, the keyboard, and some software program where they can do their own term papers and
common
research
knowledge.
papers.
They should have common knowledge.
Very much.
Okay. Let's say a student has an idea of what the major that they want to have in college. Now, a lot of times, granted, they'll change the majors halfway through. I know a lot of the kids will do that. Should a student, at least in the music department, should a student, I feel, should take the basic theory classes to get them a head start. What about in business and in law? Are there any courses that North Penn offers that, should they be taking these courses at the high school level, should I say?
Yes, it's advisable. As we work with students and parents, we tell them that they have to think of 2 things. First of all, to satisfy the graduation requirements so that they can graduate without any problem. Secondly, the area of electives, that be a focus on what their career direction is or their major in college. For example, if a student is thinking about going into medicine in senior year, they should pick up physics, which is a science course, but an area of elective would be advanced biology because that leads directly toward the science field.
Can you get college credit for some of these classes, or is this just getting you more and more prepared for the college level?
It's preparation. This is not, no, unless they take the advanced placement test.
Okay, but
that's
that you could get some credit.
That's
okay.
college credit.
Okay. Now, there is, as far as I can remember, the rumor that you have to have 2 years of a language. Is that true?
That is true. That is not a rumor.
Okay, so all colleges ask for that.
At least 2 years of the same foreign language.
So what if they take it in 7th grade? Can you take a language in 7th grade and 8th grade, and does that cover the requirements?
Most colleges would say they want 2 years of a foreign language taught at the high school level, all right, which would be 9 through 12. Some schools might say, well, if we see that a student is in the 2nd level of a foreign language, that they assume that there was a 1st level. But that's getting a little bit iffy there.
Okay. And another rumor. We're here to dispel of all rumors. It's rumored that your most important year is your junior year, as far as transcripts are concerned. Is that true?
Rumor.
Rumor. Okay.
A lot of rumors floating around. On the transcript, we have grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it's going to show the college the academic history, starting with 9th grade. Also, the attendance of the student is on the transcript. And this is going to tell the college, just how serious a student is, because of their attendance. So every grade is on the transcript, and the colleges will look at that to see the consistency of performance.
Okay.
As far as GPA and class rank, that's determined in grades 10, 11, and 12.
Okay. What about your senior year? Let's just say I'm halfway through my senior year. I've been accepted already to Harvard.
Right.
Their music program. And
it's always music.
I've been pre-approved. Now, can I blow off the rest of my year? And if I do, what happens if my grade starts to drop off and I start failing some of these classes?
Well, you can blow it off, but it would not be advisable. The colleges will receive the midterm and final report card. And they base the acceptance, of course, on the first marking period, because that's when the application comes in. But they want to be sure that this is a serious student. And again, I repeat, that is a serious student that's going to take the academic work and work with it throughout the entire year. So when they get the midterm and their final report card, they're going to be looking for a consistency of performance. If that's not there, well, then the college might just have some negotiating to do with the student.
So they can pull back their acceptance or make some...
It has happened, yes.
Okay. So seniors don't slack off.
Don't slack off.
Okay. Next question is about the SATs. I guess the timing of it and the importance of SATs. First of all, what's the cost of taking the SAT test?
The cost is $23.
Okay, so it's really not a big financial issue.
The first we have to consider is PSAT. This is taken in October of junior year. Now, sophomores may take it. All right, for them, it's strictly a practice opportunity. But for juniors, it's extremely important to take the PSAT because this is the only way they can be a contender for the National Merit Scholarship, by the PSAT of junior year. And it will also give them, you might say, a practice session for the SAT. The SAT is designed for the spring of junior year, March, May, or June, and then can be repeated again in senior year in the fall, October, November, December, and January. So the student may take the test once, may take it 7 times, it's up to them.
So which test scores will count, though?
The highest 2. Most colleges will take the highest verbal and the highest math.
So if I score high on math on my first test, and when I take it the 10th time, and I finally get a high score in verbal, they'll count those 2?
Most colleges will work that way, yes.
Okay. I'd like to turn some attention now to Karen. Welcome to the show again. Karen, you are the transcript secretary here at North Penn High School. For those who may not already know, what exactly is a transcript?
A transcript is a record of your 9th through 12th, the high school transcript. And we put a sticker on every year showing your final grades, what courses you've taken, and again, your GPA is on there, rank, absences, if you've been tardy, so all those things do count.
Discipline procedures?
No discipline.
Okay. How often are they updated?
They're updated yearly except for the additional tests they take, such as the SATs. Those come in stickers, they're put on the back.
How long will you keep a student transcript?
We keep them forever. We have them all the way back to the beginning of Lansdale High School.
So if someone graduated in 1982,
oh yes,
we could
got
find
you.
out. Now, can anyone get into any record, or does it have to be?
No. The privacy law requires we ask for your written permission to copy your records.
Okay.
So
okay.
you're the only one that's going to get them.
Let's say I wanted to get into my transcripts. Why would I want to get into my transcripts? Do you have anyone that comes?
Well, we have, of course, the college bound. The college wants a transcript, but very often people going into employment want to see that someone graduated. They'll ask for a transcript.
Okay. How many copies of a transcript are available? How many can I get?
We're happy to copy it as many times as you want, official or unofficially. The
Okay.
official one has a seal.
Is there a cost involved?
No, there's not.
Oh, nice.
Your tax dollars at work.
Now, how are the transcripts sent to the colleges of the student's choice? How do they get sent there?
Again, they come in, they sign the release form, and either give us an application and we'll send it with it, or we'll just send it direct if they've perhaps done it on the internet.
Do extracurricular activities and athletics, are they involved in a transcript at all?
No, they're not on the official academic transcript, but many students will create their own resume, and often that's included with the application.
Okay, so if a student decided to send off their transcript, it would be smart. Would you recommend, in addition to transcript, have the resume ready to go? Would that be a smart option, or does that not happen very often?
That usually goes with the application. And of course, they hand out teacher recommendation forms, which often will come back and we will include if they wish to have them included.
Okay, John, I'm going to bounce back to you for a second. When you're talking about getting into a college, is it important to be in activities in athletics? Does that carry any extra weight?
All colleges want that information. The involvement of the student in extracurricular activities, if the student has a part-time job, youth groups associated with a church or a synagogue. And the reason why they do that is to see that the student is able to function academically as well as being involved with the community. So that is important.
So even if you have a great transcript, it's a little bit more icing on the cake, would you say, to be involved in the other?
Sure, because they're getting a total picture then of the student.
Okay.
It's not just an academic, but it's an academic person with what they're doing.
Fine. Karen, what are colleges looking for in the transcripts? Is there anything in particular that they like to look for?
Well, again, they're looking for what classes did they take, do they qualify with the languages, but they also can see were they honors courses, were they advanced placement courses. And that's always impressive to say, well, this GPA is based on the more difficult subjects.
Okay, John, how can the high school guidance counselors help out with the college application process? What's the high school's counselors' help there?
Okay, to inform both the student and the parent. In 10th grade, we invite students and parents to come in and to meet with us so we can explain the focus of 10th grade and 11th and 12th. And part of that is an understanding of how the application process works. It's important for the student and parent to know this because of deadlines that have to be met and certain requirements that have to be met. And also to be aware of the fact of what the transcript is and that it is started in 9th grade and so on, so that the student can hopefully look at their academic work and take it more seriously, realizing that this is going to count when it's time to make application to college. So we do inform the students and the parents about what the requirements are, and then we'll work with the student in step-by-step procedures.
Okay. Now, put away your counselor and your transcript hats. Now your parents. You both have had students go through North Penn and graduate. Does North Penn prepare their students well for college? As a parent now. Karen?
I think they do a wonderful job. My daughter was looking in the art field, and we were surprised many of the colleges didn't have the art facilities that we have here at North Penn.
Splendid. Great.
And of course, the music department's
Wow.
fabulous.
I don't need to say any more about that. John?
I feel the same way. I have 2 children, and first of all, writing skills, which is extremely important for college. They both were well prepared, and once they got to college and realized how other students were not prepared, they appreciated all the more what North Penn did. And my daughter's in the sciences, and she was well prepared for that and is very successful.
Great.
So I'm very satisfied with what we've been able to do as an educational institution for my children.
Now we know the right courses and transcripts are the beginning of the college application process. Next on North Penn's Finest, we'll take a look into deciding what college is right for you, applying to college, and the financial aid process. Stay tuned. Sweet.
going to take?
Algebra.
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 If no one's explained how algebra, geometry, and calculus can improve your future, demand that you be told. Call NACME. We'll tell you.
Welcome back to North Penn's Finest, where we are discussing the college application and financial aid process. We are now joined by Margaret Chioda Keller, Future Plan Center Coordinator, and Pat Kohler, North Penn High School Guidance Counselor. Thanks for being here with us today. Margaret, the Future Plan Center, first of all, do all high schools have a Future Plan Center?
To my knowledge, not all high schools do, but they're becoming more and more popular as the years go on.
So what will the Future Plan Center do for a student?
The Future Plan Center has a lot of information both on careers and two-year colleges, four-year colleges, vo-tech schools, and trade schools nationwide, along with a computer program that gives additional information even for graduate programs.
So it's not just college.
It's not just college, it's career information. That's a major focus in the office, along with guidance service information, SAT information, anything that the student needs to know about a specific college, along with athletic information is also available.
What about, would I go through my counselor to go into this area, or would I just stop in to see you?
Well, you could go through your counselor to set up an appointment to speak with me, or come right to my office, the Future Plan Center, and I'll be more than happy to set up an appointment with any student at any time.
Now, what's usually involved in the appointment? Do they need any type of information with them? What do you like for them to
all
bring
they
with
really
them?
need is the pass to come see me, and then I'll have the CUME folder in the office, and I can go through that and get their information from there and just take it from that.
Can students call colleges or universities from the Future Plan Center for information and or applications?
Most of our students find that the information they need is presently in the Future Plan Center, so it's very rare that we have a student needing to make a telephone call to the outside. We check our information almost daily and make our own telephone calls to the guidance departments at different universities to get the applications and the profile books, catalogs, things of that information. So we're pretty well stocked.
Okay. John, I'm going to go over you for a second. Sometimes colleges come here for visits during lunchtime or something like that. What happens with that?
We're very fortunate to have 1 to 3 colleges every day come to the cafeteria and spend all the lunch periods right in the cafeteria with the students, so that students can just leave their table, go up to the college representative and ask questions such as, what kind of math courses should I take? What kind of science courses should I take related to the major I'm interested in? How could I go about setting up a visit with a college? How could I get an application? So it's extremely helpful.
You mentioned a good point here, and perhaps someone here can answer the question. Visiting a college. What if I wanted to visit, let's say, Temple University, my alma mater? How could I set something up here to see a visit?
Well, that's very easy to do. We have the phone numbers of all the schools nationwide in the Future Plan Center, and they can certainly get the phone number to the admissions office, make a call to one of the admissions office counselors, and they're more than happy to set up an appointment for an interview, a campus tour. All of that's available.
Okay. A student, let's just say, hypothetically, a student has decided on a few of the colleges that they'd like to apply for. How do they go about applying? How do they go about that process?
They should come into the Future Plan Center first and see if we have the application. If we do, we're more than happy to give that to them. They take it home, read over it carefully, fill it out, sign the check for the admissions fee, application fee.
What's the price there?
It's usually somewhere between $25 and $60. 60 is high end.
Okay.
Okay. Then they bring that all back to us in the transcript Future Plan Center.
Why do they have an application fee?
Someone has to make money.
We'll get to that on our next show.
But then they bring it all back to us completed, and we attach the transcript, the SATs, the teacher's recommendations, and a school profile. The North Penn High School
Sure.
profile is attached. It goes out in one complete packet.
So who sends that out?
That goes out through the transcript office.
So the students don't really have to send it out through themselves?
They can, but it's not required. We can do that entire process for them.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great process. When will schools and students start to initiate their applications? When should they start? Their
Okay.
senior year, should they start, or their junior year, should they start applying?
Well, they can start looking at any time between sophomore and the end of junior year, but by the second, third week of September in senior year, we're finding that we're starting to get applications in from our students. So that's certainly a good time to start.
Okay.
It's never too early to start.
Now, here's a simple question. Should they type it or should they print it?
Okay. Typing is wonderful, but we find that there aren't many typewriters around anymore. If you're going to print it, please be legible. We find that a lot of schools will say, I can't read this, I don't understand what it says. It needs to be extremely legible. On the internet, we even have information where the students can just type it right into their computer and it goes over the internet.
Okay. What's the timeline? Say I apply to a college for early acceptance, would we say?
Early decision.
At Ted Heller School of Music, you've applied. How long will the process take?
From the time you hand it to me till the time the school gets it, we're saying 2 weeks turnaround time. Okay, 3 weeks is on the outskirts, and that's usually around the holiday time. Our counselors are very good at getting the information back to us as soon as possible. So we're really doing, I'd say, anywhere from 7 to 10 days.
Okay. Now, part of the application, do they have to write a composition on there? I mean, that used to
An
be the
essay?
case, an essay.
Yes.
Now, is that common?
It's becoming more and more common, yes. In fact, we have some schools who are asking for 2 essays at this point. So, yeah, it's
Gotta
very
love
common.
those schools. Now, is it the same question?
No.
Can they save it on their computer and just reprint it, or
Well, if it's an easy question that's not specific to that school, certainly.
what type of question would they ask?
Let's see, what type of question? Based on your experiences at North Penn High School, what do you feel are your strongest points of interest to the college?
Okay. Okay.
Or why would you like to major in this subject?
General
then-
questions to test their content as well as their ability to compose.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ability to compose is extremely important.
Fine. What else do colleges and universities require with the application? Other than the application itself, is there anything, I mean, you send off the transcript, do they require anything else above and beyond usually? Are there any exceptions?
Not usually, but if a student wants to send a resume, that's certainly acceptable. And in some cases, it may put the student over the top. Because if they have extracurricular activities that they're heavily involved in, it doesn't show up on the transcript.
Okay,
So the school
okay.
wouldn't see that. Whereas on the resume, they can give that information.
Pat, we're going to welcome you to the show. Hi. We've been talking about the applications, and we talked about the fee and the range. What if there's a student out there that would like to apply for a college, but quite frankly can't afford it?
There are a couple ways around that, Ted. The College Board program offers a fee waiver program that certain students can utilize depending upon what their financial situation is, and they can check with their counselor to see if they're eligible for that program. Also, if there are unusual family circumstances, if parents lost a job or there's an illness in the family, sometimes the student themselves or the counselor can write a letter to the admissions office stating what these circumstances are and asking them if they would consider waiving the fee.
Okay. Since we're talking about finances, Pat, can you help clear up financial aid? There's a
I don't know
lot
that
of
anybody can help clear it up.
Is there a way, how can they apply for it, and how do they go about applying for it?
Okay. Financial aid comes in a variety of forms, and it's typically either merit-based or need-based. Merit aid is awarded by the institution typically because of certain academic successes, or if there has been an accomplishment in a particular service area or athletics or so forth. Need-based aid is applied for in several ways. The first and foremost is through the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal student aid.
Okay.
That form is used across the nation for all schools, and that determines whether or not a student's eligible for certain federal aid programs, which would be the Pell Grant, SEOG, Stafford Perkins Loan, College Work-Study Program.
What kind of financial aid are we talking about here? Are we talking thousands, hundreds?
It can be well into the thousands. It depends upon what the student's financial situation is, and that's the family's situation as well as the student's.
For financial aid questions, especially the specific questions, the parent or the student should call the college, the financial aid office of the college.
Okay, okay.
They have experts there. That's their full-time job.
Now, should they wait till they get accepted to the college? Or
No.
should they just...
No.
Okay, okay. Where can I pick up financial aid forms?
The FAFSA form is mailed to every student who took the SAT in their junior year. However, we also have them available in the Future Plan Center, and occasionally you can pick them up at the library or the post office as well.
When are they due?
The FAFSA form cannot be filed before the 1st of January. The deadlines for forms varies from school to school, as well as the type of form that a school is requesting.
What if they miss the deadline?
That's a very major area of concern. Financial aid deadlines are crucial. Schools will tell you typically even more crucial than the admissions deadline is sometimes. If they miss a deadline, they could very well be out of the pool of available monies.
Okay. How much money can be awarded? What's your range?
Well, if you're looking just at federal grant programs, they all have caps on them, usually in the vicinity of $3,000 to $4,000. But institutional monies that schools have available can vary drastically. When a student receives financial aid, it's in the form of a package, and that may include federal money, state money, and institutional monies as well. And students can sometimes receive money that will take care of all of their expenses.
Good. God bless them. Who can help me out with student loans? How can you go about a student loan? Who would help me here?
The student loan process, most loans that are awarded to students are either Stafford loans or the Perkins loan, which is a campus-based loan. Both of those loans are applied for through the FAFSA and awarded through the federal methodology or the computation process, and then that is also allocated by the schools as well.
Range of monies available?
Incoming students, Stafford loan, the cap is $26.25. The Perkins loan depends from school to school. Each year that a student is in school, the Stafford loan goes up in the amount that they can borrow.
How long will it take to pay it back?
The schools typically, the federal government with the Stafford loan usually works out a payment plan of approximately 10 years that starts about 6 to 9 months after the student leaves school.
Is it common that a fee to get to a college outside of the state, is it more expensive? Is it always more expensive out of the state than in the state of Pennsylvania?
It depends on the school. The state system in Pennsylvania is certainly in a very affordable group of schools. But there are also many affordable institutions outside of the state of Pennsylvania as well, and it also depends upon how much money is awarded.
Another area for money is scholarships. Is there anything that the Future Planning Center does as far as scholarships concerned?
Okay, we have a selection of information on scholarships constantly on file in the Future Plan Center. They start with the nationwide financial aid grant and scholarship books that are updated yearly in our office. So students are always welcome to come in and look through that information and see what's available to them. Basically in the books, you're just going to be taking down a name, address, and telephone number to write to. Okay, to get their application forms. We also keep in the office scholarship information that has come into us through outside mail. Now these can break down into a couple different forms. They can be from individual colleges, they can be from industry, outside organizations, things of that nature.
Okay, so you can get some nice piece of change through scholarships.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you can make it through the process, yes.
Again, but it's all based in the Future Plan Center.
It's all in the Future Plan Center.
Okay.
Any questions they would have on scholarships.
Can a college give a student financial aid money themselves?
Yeah, many colleges have their own pool of funds that come from alumni donations and endowments and so forth. That application process can be a little bit different than just the FAFSA form. Some schools require something called the profile. That is a customized application process. But it's important for parents to call the financial aid office at the school to determine whether the profile is required, because it's $15 processing fee per school to do that.
There it is again. So what I'm hearing is, first of all, there's forms all over the place we have to fill out just to get into a college or try to get into a college, and then types of monies. So I think the emphasis right now is timing, making sure everything gets in on time.
Absolutely.
And it will run up with fees here and there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, there's a lot to remember to apply to a college. Margaret, when is the Future Plan Center open to students?
The Future Plan Center is open Monday through Friday from 7:15 to 3:15, and every Wednesday evening from 7 to 9 p.m.
Is it a place where students only, or do you recommend parents to come in as well?
I have lots of parents who utilize the facilities, so it's a place for students, parents, grandparents, anyone who wants information.
Okay. And Karen Higgins, who is dealing with a transcript, who was on the show earlier, she shares the same office. Mm-hmm. Is she there at the same times?
Karen's there during the day at the same hours, but the evenings are predominantly me there.
Okay. John, when are the counselors? When are they available?
Well, counselors are available at all times, but we ask the student to make an appointment so that we can call for the student from your study period and meet with them and discuss what their questions are.
Okay, okay. John, before we close out this portion of the show, do you have any information you'd like to share with us?
Yes, that I have. A couple things I would like to mention that were discussed during this session, and that was about activities, a list of activities. It is important for students to have a list of activities, but even more than that, it's important that they really focus on what they've actually done, not just a list, a laundry list of all kinds of involvements, but to be specific in how they demonstrated their leadership. That's what the colleges are looking for, what really makes them different or sets them apart from everybody else.
Okay.
Another thing, we talked about SATs and how important they are for admission to college. Along with that is the transcript, that the student has to realize that the college is getting their academic report from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. And colleges are looking for that as much as they're looking for what kind of a score they do on the SAT. So it's an ongoing academic performance. We are fortunate now to have, you might say, the guidance hotline or an information box over the phone system. And I would like to mention it's extension 127. Every week we update the information of what's coming up for parents or students to just dial 127 and find out what colleges will be here as representatives and information of that nature.
So they call North Penn High School, 215-368-9800, punch in the extension 127.
127. Okay.
First of all, I'd like to thank John for being on the show today, Pat and Margaret. Coming up next in our third segment, we will have a couple of North Penn graduates coming back to share their first-year experiences of colleges. So we'll be right back. Thanks.
Chemistry class led me to a life of crime. I catch murderers, rapists, and thieves with a microscope. Help your daughter become a scientist. Instead of a tea set, get her a chemistry set. Look at the boring job I got from being a science nerd. Expect the best from a girl. That's what you'll get.
Welcome back. Joining me now are North Penn graduates Katie Love and Brian Clayton. Welcome to the show. Katie, first of all, what school are you attending now, and what's your major?
Bucknell University, and I'm a biochemistry major.
Okay. Brian, what about yourself?
I'm at Westchester University of Pennsylvania, and I'm an instrumental music education major.
Katie, first of all, why would you choose Bucknell?
Bucknell, what originally impressed me was its beautiful campus besides its academic reputation. I went there and it was a very homey environment, and that was very important to me. I wanted to be able to be at some place where I felt like I could be enriched both academically and socially.
Okay. Brian, how about yourself?
Well, the first thing that struck me about Westchester was the surrounding environment. The actual town of Westchester is a beautiful place to be. Also, the faculty and students at Westchester are great. Personally, being a music major, I saw it ideal to go to Westchester. Being the private instrument teacher for my major instrument was one of the finer teachers in the area.
Okay. What about dorm life? What can you tell us about dorm life, Katie?
Originally, I was kind of shocked, but my room's kind of small. But you do get very acclimated to it really quickly. The first part that scared me was the whole bathroom thing. But really, people.
Why does that scare you?
Just the co-ed.
Okay.
Because my dorms are co-ed. But really, the people that you live with, you develop a sense of community, and it really doesn't affect you anymore.
Brian, how about yourself?
Well, the first thing I thought when I got to my dorm was, wow, this place looks like a penitentiary.
Yeah.
All the windows were wide open and everything, but you get your rug down, you can put some curtains up and get a little bit of furniture in there. Things really start to look like home, kind of.
I don't want to bring up maybe you guys personally, but do a lot of people in your colleges, do they get homesick their first year?
A few people did around the first month, but then when fall break rolls around, I mean, everybody's anxious to go home, but then they're also anxious to come back as you've developed.
How about at Westchester?
I definitely do know some people that are my good friends that get homesick every now and then, but for the most part, people enjoy being at college and kind of tend to forget about home.
Okay.
Not in a good sense, though.
How did North Penn High School help you to go about selecting the college that you wanted to go to?
Originally, I started college search right after my sophomore year in high school, and I did go to the Career Center here, and I used the computer printout system. Like, you type in what you're looking for, and it gives you your general area of schools. And we went on basically a New England search and little Western Pennsylvania. And after seeing the colleges, it just gave you a better sense of what you were getting into and what kind of environment you were looking for.
Brian, how about yourself?
Well, I kind of knew that I wanted to go to Westchester from the beginning, but being at North Penn, I got my application here. I didn't have to worry about mailing up there to get anything. And there was a lot of teachers here that were supportive of my decisions and who kind of helped me prepare to go to college. So North Penn helped me in a lot of ways.
Okay. Now, North Penn allows for students for college visitations. Brian, did you take up that opportunity at all to visit any schools at all?
Yes, I visited Westchester one day, and I took one day to visit Temple also. Mm-hmm. It's a great experience, and it's good that North Penn allows us to do that.
Okay. Katie, how about yourselves?
No, mainly I just did my college search in the summers.
Which colleges did you search out?
In New England, we went up to Cornell, Dartmouth, Amherst, Boston College, and Bucknell we did later.
When you're searching out these colleges, what were you looking for? Why did you choose Bucknell over the other schools?
A lot of it was size. I wanted something that was comparable to North Penn, but not too overbearing. It was a lot of time travel, because the New England schools were a lot of travel hours, and I knew I wanted to be able to, if I needed to get home for a weekend, to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. What do you expect? What did you expect when you were a senior last year about college, and have you realized it? Is it true once you got to college, Katie?
I expected a lot of work, and I got a lot of work. It's not overbearing as people think it's going to be. If you keep up is basically the main thing, and go to classes, you won't fall behind.
Okay, Brian, how about yourself?
Again, I thought that there was going to be a lot of work, and granted, it is a lot of work, but just as Katie said, if you keep up with things, it's really not that bad. I also was looking forward to college, being able to be a little bit free and make my own decisions, and that's something that I find is very true. You have to really know what's going on, and you have to be on top of things. There's no one there to hold your hand and tell you what to do.
Now, when you're at college, you do have free time. What do you do with your free time?
Well, I joined the crew team. Went out for the crew team right away.
Now, when you're at North Penn, first of all, I don't think North Penn has a crew team.
No.
So why did you choose crew?
Crew I've always looked at as a very beautiful sport and very collegiate. And when I got there, I wanted to try something new because I'd been very active in the music program here. And it was just an outlet for me to be physically active and learn meet new people.
Okay. Did it work out that way?
Oh, very much so.
Okay. Brian, how about yourself?
A lot of my time is spent in the practice rooms. I guess you could kind of say that's a little bit of studying, but I also like to spend a lot of my time walking around the town itself and just being with my friends, playing volleyball, throwing a football, that kind of thing.
Okay. For Westchester, did you have an orientation?
Yes, we had an orientation over a weekend in the summer. They give 6 different weekends you can go up. I chose the weekend in July, and you just go up, a couple of seminars, that kind of thing, and you sleep over in the
So
dorms.
Westchester has an orientation session where you have to attend?
Yes, you have to attend the orientation.
Okay, okay. What about Bucknell?
I chose to do a program called Buck Wild. It was, we got taken to a place in Connecticut, which was, we backpacked for 5 days, and you're stuck in a group with people that you've never seen before, you've never met, and that really helped me. It was like just a way for me to get to know faces. So when I went back to campus for the actual orientation, the mandatory orientation, I knew at least some people to like sit with and things like that.
Okay. What about any messages for seniors or juniors now at North Penn going out to applying for colleges or doing a college visitation or deciding which college to choose? Do you have any recommendations for seniors or juniors going through that process?
I definitely say keep up in your studies. Take AP courses if you can, because I took 2 and the AP tests, and that really enhanced my standing. I have at least 2 courses that I can play around with as to what I take in which semester.
Okay. How about yourself, Brian?
Definitely AP courses are a good thing, but also when you look for a college, I think it's important to remember it's got to kind of feel like home almost. You have to be somewhere comfortable. So if you're going to go out looking for a college, make sure it's somewhere that's going to take your AP credits first of all, but also make sure it's somewhere where you're going to be comfortable.
Here's one of the most important questions on the show today. How is dorm food?
Dorm food was surprisingly good. I was impressed. I got one of the lucky dorms that had a cafeteria right under my dorm. So
now, does your tuition cover all the food, or is that a separate item that you have to cover?
I believe it's separate, and we have there are different meal plans that you can get after you're a freshman, but freshmen are confined to a single 19 meal a week plan.
Okay, Brian, how about dorm food at Westchester?
Well, we have one big dining room called just the Lawrence Center, and then there's a side caf with fast food, and then there's the Ram's Head, which is kind of like a student union. The food is it's okay. A lot of times it's better than others, but depending on where you go, there's a lot of options, and I think that's important to have a lot of options on what you want to eat.
As freshmen, can you drive on campus?
I cannot.
You cannot. You're not allowed to have a car on campus.
Not at all.
How about Westchester?
Everyone at Westchester is allowed to have a car. However, you do have to buy a $20 parking permit for the campus, and the university surrounding, the township surrounding the university requires that you have a borough parking permit.
Now, both of you are staying on campus. Do either of you commute?
No.
No. Do you have anyone in your schools that commute?
There are some. There are a few.
Okay. What do the commuters miss out on?
Like Brian was saying before, like when you find your sense of community and your sense of like home, you really develop your family there. And people who commute don't really leave the environment of like what they came from, like high school. And I think it's really important that you make that step to just find things on your own and become your own person.
Brian?
Definitely, the social aspect is one of the major things that you miss on, and going to college and learning educationally, it's very important, but just as important as the social aspect, you have to learn how to be an adult and how to take care of yourself. And if you're going to go to college, I think you have to live there, because social aspects are so important.
Okay. We talked very briefly about the crew. What other college activities are there that maybe North Penn High School wouldn't ordinarily offer that are out in college levels?
There are a lot of more diverse sports, like men's lacrosse it's larger there, and there are musical groups and a lot of theater groups, surprisingly, and more opportunities for the arts. We have a large number of dance troupes and different things like that.
Okay. Brian, how about Westchester?
Well, I know in the music department there are 65 different musical organizations you can get into, and all the other departments, they have their own numbers. So the numbers of different organizations are staggering. There's so many opportunities for so many different people to get involved with.
You're a music major, which means you have to march. How many years do you have to march?
At Westchester, we're required to march for 3 years, or 3 semesters, or we can march for 2 years and be in orchestra for 1 semester.
Okay. Katie, what was your major again?
Biochemistry.
What do you expect when you graduate from Bucknell with a biochemistry degree? What do you expect to do in the workforce?
Hopefully I plan to go on to med school. That's going to be a large part of my junior and senior year, taking the MCATs and preparing and finding out where I want to go. It's just another step like college for my schooling. And then hopefully for med school, do the internship and residency and become a doctor.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I want to wish both of you luck at your colleges and good luck with the balance of the semester.
Thank you.
That's it for North Penn's televisions of North Penn's finest. I hope we've helped you out in this process of getting prepared for the college level. Before we close out, I'd like to say special thanks for John Vencius for visiting us, Pat Kohler, Karen Higgins, Margaret Chioda Keller, and again, Brian and Katie for joining us on the show today. That's it for North Penn Television. We'll see you next time.
It's my birthday. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, I told you, don't be bringing that weak stuff in here. Yeah. Who's the man? Who's the man?
Exercised lately?